Yeah.
I love my HBCU. And boy, I love it, love it. I love it, love it. I love my HBCU. And man, I hope my team they won one.
Yeah.
I hope my team they won one.
Yeah. Man.
I hope my team they won one. I hope my team they won one.
Yeah.
I tune into the HBCU Sports Lab to see if my team won or lost. If they lost, I'm quiet as a mouse. But if they won, keep tab. I'ma do the dab, yeah. Dr. Cavil, he know what he be talking about. Mike and Charles, they know what they be talking about. They compress the analytic data with the hip hop. If you know them like I know them, they gon' tell you if your team, if they won or lost, and who the ball. So listen to Professor, yes sir, and pay attention, cause he gon' teach a lesson.
Welcome to Dr. Cavil's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab, episode 736. This is the Indy Report. Welcome to episode 736 of the HBCU of Inside the HBCU Sports Lab radio show and podcast, the show that's covering the sporting HBCU diaspora, all things HBCU sports for institutions large and small, from an NAIA to the NCAA. We share insights and information on HBCU sports culture and HBCU athletic aesthetics to facilitate the story of HBCU athletic programs and the business of HBCU sports. I'm your host, David L. Rhodes, and with me I have Jeffrey Johnson. Brandon King might make an appearance, but we know that Tariq Wilson's on assignment today. We are filming from our home studios and sending a signal live to our KCOH 1230 AM studios with the Texas Radio Hall of Famer Ralph Cooper in the beautiful home of Texas Southern University from Houston, Texas. Mr. Johnson, how you doing this lovely day?
Yo, I'm back. Had my surgery. Check it out.
Look at that.
Bruh, listen. People are looking at me like, yo, is he okay? You know, like that. You get that, like, hey, is he like on something? You know, like you missing 4 of them. You know, from like you can't eat candy apples no more.
Oh wow.
So yeah, so I had to get the surgery. I'm good now, but yeah. So I'm back.
All right. I want to start with the MEAC.
Yeah.
Our old stomping ground, so to speak. How you feeling about Delaware State, man? 2-0 the conference, got a chance to go 3-0 on Friday against Morgan.
Honest, nobody saw this coming. Like
There's one guy that saw this coming.
You saw it?
No.
Oh.
Scotty, my boy Scotty, he saw it coming. He's been calling it. He said they were going to win 8 games this year, which
I will say a few of the recruiting gurus that I follow, they were high on his recruitment before the season. I wasn't. I heard it. I mean, I followed it, but I didn't think the guy could put it all together in one season. This is like, we haven't seen this before. Like, this is reminiscent of the Deion Sanders when that, not the first year Jackson, but when Shedeur came.
Yeah. It's gonna get interesting, man. Like I'm still concerned about their defense.
Oh yeah,
particularly their pass defense.
Yeah, the defense. I would say the pass defense is very sketchy at best. Like the best way they win games is just shootouts.
They can run. Well, they don't even want to do that when you keep it a bean. Like they can run the ball. This is the number one in the country in rushing.
No, I totally agree. But I am. Like what Deshaun Jackson of all people, not saying that he was a bad person, but whoa, you know.
But he seemed more serious about this.
He does. He's
more serious. Like
whereas I feel like I saw a clip of a Norfolk State recruit talking about the recruitment to Norfolk State. He said he only saw Michael Vick for maybe 10 minutes. Nothing was The housing package didn't come through. Many things didn't come through. So it felt like, okay, does he really want to do this with Norfolk State? But with Deshaun, I feel like the whole administration or the whole athletic department is all in with him.
Absolutely.
My thing is, I like to see it because honestly, Delaware State has been in a funk all the way going back to the oh god, Al. What was Al's last name? Al, the old coach.
I don't, man. Do not ask me about Delaware State coaches, please.
Yeah. And
I will say, I will say this: if Delaware State gets to the Celebration Bowl,
oh god, no.
This would be more impressive than what Deion did.
Oh, absolutely. Delaware,
and he ain't got to go multiple times. He only need to go once, because especially if he does it in his first year.
This is what, man. Just don't wear those hideous powder blue colored jerseys, man. But no, do the red, man. Come on, keep it a bean. But no, I am because they had Kermit Blunt. Was it Kermit? Was it Washington as a coach? They had a bunch of like coaches whose specialty was his specialty was in recruiting. Another one, he had a system, and they all like just flamed out there. You know, Delaware State for a while was a places where coaches go to die, you know. And so I'm happy to see that Deshaun Jackson is recruited well. They have a good running game. They had brought in players that talking to some other coaches that I've spoken with, they got guys over, I would say, upper echelon FCS programs. And I'm sitting here, Delaware State, what does he got going on in the water over there? So definitely impressed. And what they did with Central, wow.
Yeah, to crash their homecoming, man, and pretty much it makes it fascinating for the rest of the way. Like, there's still a scenario where the school down the road can go to the Celebration Bowl, but that's going to require them beating South Carolina State.
Yeah,
and Del State losing to South Carolina State, and then there's a 3-way tie. The school down the road goes.
Now is Delaware going to Orangeburg?
Nope, they got to come to Dover in November. That's going to be the finale. Yeah, it's going to be the finale.
That's going to be tough because you know what, South Carolina State, they're a good traveling team, but they're not a cold weather team.
We're gonna find out. We're gonna find out now.
Teams weren't really good in cold weather. They were always good at home.
If Del State wins this weekend, it becomes 3-0 in conference. Now I believe their last 2 games is in Dover. I have to double check that, but I believe their last 2 games are in Dover.
Well, they got Howard coming up, right?
They have Howard, then they'll have South Carolina State. Well, they got Morgan this weekend. They got Morgan Friday. They moved the game. They flexed the game to ESPNU, which I can't watch now thanks to YouTube, thanks to Disney YouTube TV.
What is? That's another thing. That really pissed me.
I could do a whole show on that. I'm not going to, but I could do a whole show on that.
Please tell me that's not a MEAC thing or that's a Disney thing.
I mean, ESPN is owned by Disney, so
yeah.
But nah, Google doesn't have a vested interest to rush this because they're Google. Like it's a drop in the bucket for them.
Yeah.
All right, so since I ain't gonna have you for the whole show, man, I want to talk about your homecoming because we weren't here last week. I had to cancel last week, guys, and I apologize for that. We weren't here last week. So since the last time we had a show, you only played 1 game. Y'all was on bye last weekend, but the previous week, y'all went up against Monmouth for your homecoming.
Yeah.
And we were afraid that y'all were gonna get beat pretty badly. And you actually made it interesting for a little while, but they didn't have their starting quarterback. But still, you still made it interesting. So
we did, and to be real, it's like I think a lot of the fans, like just listening to a lot of the alums at the game, the whispering campaign. And you know, at every HBCU got one. So it was, well, we thought we hit it big with the Freeman kid. That didn't work.
Oh, I just lost Jeff. Jeff got one of the twins on him, so he probably lost access. Jeff, I can't hear you at this point, man. But the bottom line, like, I guess I could talk about A&T for a few minutes because, I was going to ask Jeff a question before he left to go to break. I'll give him a second to come back. So bear with me for 1 second while I get my bearings right with regards to the picture. Let's see. Nope, that's not what I want. Where's my picture at? That's going to have to do for now. But one thing that I know, one thing that's clear is that, all right, I think Jeff's about to come back. One thing that's clear is that Hampton kept it a game for a bit, even though Monmouth had their backup quarterback. Now, Monmouth is now 8th in the country. They're 8th in the nation. They just came out with the top 10 rankings for FCS playoffs, and they're number 8. So shout out to them for getting that done. But as for Hampton, Hampton did try to made it a close game. The final score was 28-10 at their homecoming. Jeff, you good, buddy? All right, I'll shoot him a message. I'll shoot him a text. But overall, they did put forth an effort to try to win this game. My things aren't working today. They did put forth an effort to win this game. And they kind of got away from them at the end. But they did put forth an effort. I want to talk about A&T and what happened these last 2 weeks. It was pretty much the good and then the ugly. I mean, I don't even I'm skipping the bad because it was ugly. With what happened last weekend. But as for Hampton, and hopefully I'll probably take a break after this and talk about A&T, and maybe Jeff can come back in. As for Hampton, they play Maine this week, and Maine is 4-1 in the conference. And a lot in the CAA, and a lot of people didn't see that coming with Maine. All right, let's try this again.
Dude, listen, I'm sorry, bro.
No, you're good. So
yeah, I don't know why I cut out
so
that. I kept yapping, and I realized I wasn't in the studio.
Yes, yeah, I kicked you out to give you the clue because I figured you didn't know. So I know you were talking about the Whispering Committee.
Okay. Oh, that's where I stopped. Bad. Oh, that was terrible. Okay. Whispering Committee. All right. First, it was, the coach. The problem is the coaches he got on staff. Then it was the problem was nobody. He says only a few people wanted that quarterback, Freeman, out of the highly requested quarterback. And then it turned into, I didn't want him, you wanted him. I didn't want him, he wanted him. Then it turned into a lot of other things. But case in point is the fact, and another people saying we're not recruiting 757, which is true. But at the same time, though, a lot of those kids haven't expressed any interest in going to Hampton. But to the game, I would just say this. I think from what we saw, and for all the people on the sideline, our offensive line is small. I wouldn't say small. It doesn't have to be big, but they're not
compared to them.
Yeah, it's a hodgepodge, and you saw like Prunty recruited the CAA well, and he knew exactly what needed to be there. Bookend tackles, you need them. You got to have them. Guards, like guards that can run block. You got to have them in a center, an agile center. We had those last year with the guys that we had on staff. This year we don't have them. Running game, I would say, has always been consistent, but you can't really run when the blocking is kind of spotty. So I felt like a lot of the times that we were reduced to gimmicky plays. And when your offense becomes smoke and mirrors all the time, you ain't beating anybody. Sooner or later, the trick is going to run stale. And so that basically what's happened the past 3 weeks. So as far as defense is concerned, this is on the field way too long. It's like we don't really have a consistent pass rush. I would say the secondary is decent, but if you're consistently on the field, you're going to tire out. So it's just a chicken and egg scenario with us. Offense really needs to figure out ways to convert on third down, which they haven't done done. And, third and 6 is a death wish for us. 3rd and 8, impossible. So these are just things that going into next season that we need to kind of figure out.
Nah, I hear you, man. So you guys got Maine next week, and I surprised you to let you know that they're 4-1 in the conference.
Dude, that's the problem. How can they just be abominable in one year and turn around and be 4-1 the next year?
Well, the wild thing about Maine this year was that they weren't supposed to be that good, and they had a rough out of conference schedule, but they played some pretty good teams. Like, we had them on the ropes. We had those guys beat. We had Maine beat, man.
Yeah.
We had them on the ropes.
Yeah.
I was at the game.
Yeah.
So they've been able to figure it out and win these one-possession games. They've been able to close out these games. They're 4-1 in the conference.
Now, did you play them up there or did you play in Green?
We played them up in Maine.
Wow, you were up there in Maine?
Yeah, I took the ride up there to go to the game.
But you know what? Maine has always had a wide open offense. So, of course, they've always been clever. And Hampton just ain't never been clever. So, I just feel that with this game, like, oh, God, they remember what happened last year. So, I got the sense that it's going to be they have this game circled. And hopefully we are able to do something. But honestly, if the running game is not if the running game is not working, then we pretty much, I would say, our possibility or the probability of us being successful goes below 20% or maybe 15% because they're a wide open offense. They can score in 3 to 4 plays. That's what they do.
Yep, they can.
We need 10 play, 12 play drives to keep that offense off the field. And our defense won't have the pass rush. Or if we do have the pass rush, they just go strictly to that screen game, which is, they put a little slot guy out there or a tight end screen, and it gets to the point it's insufferable, and then this is what happens. And you look up, it's 35-10.
Now, I will say that they're beatable, but yeah, you got to have a run game with those guys. Do you have time to do one more segment, man?
Oh yeah, come on, I'm good. She had to call me. She had yelled at me.
All right. After the break, I want to talk about A&T. So after the break, I'm gonna at the beginning of the break, after we get back from the break, I'm gonna ask you a question.
Gotcha.
And then we're gonna talk about the last 2 games from A&T. All right. We'll be right back after this break.
This is the Dean of the College of HBCU Sports, Kenyatta Cavil of Dr. Cavil's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab with Mike Washington and Charles Bishop. Come mix it up in the lab where the course lecture is in session every Tuesday from 6 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time on Facebook Live, YouTube Spreaker, or the BCSN app. As we discuss all things about the HBCU sports culture, including exploring the week that was in the sporting HBCU diaspora, as well as the upcoming week of HBCU sports. With me, the Dean, the College of HBCU Sports, on Dr. Cavil's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab with Mike Washington and Charles Bishop. Course lecture dismissed.
It's never too early to plant the seed, to share the tradition, and instill a sense of pride in your HBCU with your little ones. HBCU Pride and Joy Children's Boutique helps you share your school spirit with a wide selection of adorable kids apparel and accessories officially licensed from your favorite HBCU. Visit hbcupridejoy.com and follow us on all social media at HBCU Pride Joy on Facebook and Twitter.
For over 30 years, HBCU Image has been more than just an apparel store. We've been a movement, a statement, a legacy. We celebrate the pride, the purpose, and the culture that make historically black colleges and universities legendary. Whether you're a student or a lifelong supporter, our gear lets you wear your HBCU story with confidence and style. Because when you wear HBCU image, you're not just wearing clothes. You're wearing culture. You're wearing pride. You're wearing purpose. HBCU.
College football fans, the Cricket Celebration Bowl is celebrating 10 years of crowning an HBCU national champion. A champion will rise at Mercedes-Benz Stadium on December 13th as the MEAC and SWAC champions clash in Atlanta. Join us for championship football, interactive fan experiences, and iconic marching bands. It's an HBCU family reunion that you don't want to miss. See who will be crowned the next HBCU national champion. For event and ticket information, visit thecelebrationbowl.com.
Compress the analytic data with your hip hop. If you know them like I know them, they gon' tell you if your team, if they wanna lose, and who the ball. So listen to Professor, yes sir, and pay attention, cause he gon' teach a lesson.
Welcome back to Dr. Cavil's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab. This is the Indy Report. I guess Jeff had to go during the break, and it is okay. So I want to just go over the games that happened while we were out, since we did not do an episode last week. So North Carolina A&T, their last two games were at home. Their first home game was against Campbell. They had this miraculous comeback, so to speak. Ended up winning the game off of a punt return, and then a kick and a walk off and a game-winning kickoff return. They kicked it to the same guy 2 times in a row. All right, Jeff is back. All right, so they kicked it off to Elijah Kennedy twice, and he ran it both for touchdowns. Broke the record on the punt return for a touchdown, and ended up pulling it out against Campbell, which I thought was a winnable game going into the game. I thought they had a really good chance to win that one, which was big. That was their second CAA win at that point. And then the following week, we went to Townsend, and nothing went well. Like, not a thing. Not a narrow thing went well against Townsend. The final score was 62-9. And I'm gonna ask Jeff a question. You ready, Jeff?
Yeah, hold on. Let me I just hopped in the car. Let me
get your lighting going. All right. So meanwhile, I'll go over some of the stats of the last game against Townsend. So Townsend had,
let's see, one moment.
Yeah, no worries, man. Had over 382 yards of passing, 146 yards of rushing. Meanwhile, A&T only had 116 yards passing and 143 yards rushing. Overall, A&T as a whole didn't do much well at all. There was two bright spots in that game. One bright spot involved the kicker, Andrew Brown, kicked the 56-yard field goal on the first drive of the game. He ended up breaking the school record for the longest field goal in school history. So shout out to Money Brown. But then after that, it fell apart. Like, it was bad the rest of the way. At halftime, the score was 42-3 at halftime. Like, it was bad across the board. And Townsend was not letting up, and I don't expect them to. We did getting a touchdown at the end. Here's a little quick factoid about that. So one of our backup quarterbacks, Lane Nelson, true freshman, he broke for a 60-yard run for a touchdown. He only ran for 143 yards on 36 carries. So in essence, without that play, it was 35 carries for 83 yards for the rest of the carries outside of that one big run that Nelson Lane did for a touchdown to make the final score 62-9, which was a 53-point loss, one of our largest margins of defeat at home. And I had to go look to see when it was the last time we've gotten beaten that bad at home.
That was bad.
Can you guess the last time that we had a margin that was larger than that?
I would say you
points.
probably lost to your rival, Central.
It wasn't them. It was a rival, though.
Winston?
Nah, it was South Carolina State. Back in 2008, South Carolina State on senior day. On senior day, they were 15th in the country. They came into Greensboro, beat us 55-0. on senior day.
Oh, that was
And
Fobbs,
listen,
right?
well, yes and no. That was Lee's Fobbs' final season. However,
Yeah.
he was let go during the season. So George Ragsdale was the coach for that one as an interim coach.
Oh my God. Good old George Ragsdale, man.
Yeah, so
Okay,
so
I'm ready. What's the question?
that was the question.
Oh, yeah.
That was the question.
God.
It was bad, man.
Uh,
And so like when you consider what we look like with Campbell, and I will be honest, against Campbell,
Yeah.
I was concerned about the offense. The offense did not look good at all. I didn't think KJ
Yeah.
White I think KJ White was struggling. It was struggling against Campbell as well. But on top of that, to make matters even worse, we can't get a run game going to save our life. And that has been killing us all season. And I know that Coach Gibbs wants to establish a run, but that has been a struggle all year. And the same thing happened with Townsend. Could not establish the run. KJ had a couple turnovers. It was rough. KJ only threw for 90 yards in that game. It was just rough. It was not a good game by any stretch of the imagination. And Nelson Lane, who's our true freshman, he has 2 more games he can play in with 3 games remaining. So I anticipate we're going to see him for 2 of those last 3 games. My opinion, I expect KJ White to start, but if KJ White struggles again, I expect us to play Nelson. But I'm not there. I expect Nelson Lane to get some burn. I think Nelson Lane has the potential to be the future of the program from that regard. But I know they want to preserve his red shirt. So
I would say that there is potential for that, but I think he needs help. He doesn't have any. He needs a tight end, and the line just has not been doing him any favors. And to be honest, I wouldn't want to scar that kid any further. So.
Well, Nelson did fine when he came in, man. He did all right. He went 3 for 12. He only had 4 passes, 3 for 4 for 12 yards, but he broke for a 60-yard touchdown. Scored the only touchdown for us in the 4th quarter.
Yeah, I mean, they didn't even have their starters in. Come on, man.
But they were beating us up without our starters in then too. But they scored 20 points in the second half. We were down 42-3 in the first half. They were taking their guys out after in the 3rd quarter. It was bad, man. It was not good. And I think everybody we legitimately thought walking into this game, we had a shot to beat these guys. Yeah. And losing to them is one thing. Getting beat by 53 is another.
At home. And it's not, and to be real, it's like Greensboro, I would say Aggie Stadium has always had like a mystique about it. Well, I would say a mystique about it. You just don't get beat like that. I would say for the past, maybe during the Vincent Brown era, but I felt that you guys had somewhat you're still laying the foundation to creating an atmosphere of toughness, but I do not like the idea of other teams just waltzing into our stadiums and just beating us and then laughing at us. I really hate that. And I just really think that we need to figure out ways that, and I think Gibbs is doing that. He has the temperament. I love that. I love the fact that he wants to stump out that behavior from these kids who are all about, flash and all of this. But I just don't like being a doormat in the CAA at all. And that to me is the bigger elephant in the room, honestly.
I'll be honest, man. Outside of this game in the CAA, we've been competitive in every single game that we played against. We were within a possession, and we've literally beat ourselves every game. But this one, it was pretty much the perfect storm of beating ourselves because Townsend did not really play that good, but we were just that bad on Saturday. We just was not good in any facet. Period. We weren't that good. It was just a rough day in the office on Saturday. But now they got to head up to Long Island, New York to go play Stony Brook. That's next up. And they only have 2 conference wins too.
But, our old QB who got benched. So.
Yeah, I heard he got benched, but I'm wondering if they'll probably reel him in. But they were saying that he might be playing. He's going to get some play time. So they've been playing a platoon, it looks like. So we'll see, man. This is the second time that we haven't done a good job in handling wins, right? When we beat when we beat y'all, we freaking laid an egg against the school down the road. And when we beat Campbell, we laid an egg against Townsend. So I'm curious to see how we're going to respond going up to Long Island. Let me tell you guys something. I live in New England. It is cold. It's cold. All right. I think kickoff's at noon, which means it's really going to be cold. It's going to be cold at least until it'll probably get to the 50s by the time 1 o'clock hits, but kickoff's at noon.
But you know what? It's like warm weather teams. I wouldn't even consider North Carolina A&T a warm weather, but oh God, that's a recipe for disaster. Honestly.
But there's different types of cold, right? It's one thing. Just like when you guys, I ain't gonna be able to go to the games. I'm gonna be out of town. But when you guys come out to Rhode Island in November, bro.
Oh God, you know what? That's that reminds me.
It's gonna be cold. I live here. It's gonna be cold.
Yeah, it just reminds me of the scene you're heading into when the movie with Brad Pitt and when he's in England and they were trying to feed the guy to the dogs. I feel like that is coming for us when we go to Rhode Island. It's just that,
I'm trying to hold off. I was hoping that Brandon King would get here, but I guess I have to talk about Tennessee State without him.
Yeah. Luckily, I got the house because I'm actually making a Target run, but
yeah. So about Tennessee State, they're down to 3 games. Yeah. All right. So their last 2 games they played Western Illinois. They lost a tough one to Western Illinois, which was rough. Yeah. So I thought that should have been a game they should have won. Then they got beat pretty rough against Lindenwood, 13-35.
Yeah.
So now they're winless in conference. They're 0-5 in conference, I think.
Yeah.
And 0-4 or 0-5. Let me double check that. They're 0-5. They're 0-5 in conference.
Did they retain any of the Eddie George staff?
No.
Yeah.
So now here's the kicker. They have 3 games left. And there's a legitimate scenario they might go winless in conference.
Yeah, it sounds better.
But there's some hope. I mean, they got next up is UT Martin. There ain't too much hope there.
Yeah.
But they got Gardner Webb.
Yeah.
Maybe they got a shot there, and then they got Charleston Southern, which I think they got a shot there.
Now the question is: are they playing Gardner Webb in South Carolina, and are they playing Charleston?
No,
Southern?
They're playing UT Martin's on the road. 2 out of the last 3 games are on the road. UT Martin's on the road. Gardner Webb's at home.
Yeah.
And Charleston Southern's in Charleston. Now that being said, I mean, in the grand scheme of things, to keep it real, their attendance has not been good at these home games.
No,
particularly against this overseas team. So,
are they still at the Nissan Stadium?
Yeah, they're gonna be there forever, man.
Yeah,
they could probably go to the new state. They only had 1,000 people at the Lindenwood game.
Dude, good Lord, that is paltry.
Yeah, they only had 1,000 people at the Lindenwood game. So
now let me ask you. Now, I mean, a lot of it is due to the team's performance, but it's a lack of enthusiasm. Tennessee State never has had that. Now let me ask you this: if this was at, let's say, they redid Hell Stadium, would attendance be better?
I think it would be.
Yeah.
I think, but at the same time, I think you got to galvanate the community, and then you got to figure out a way to get the students there. And I keep bringing the theory about, and folks don't always agree with me about it, but the key to having a lot of people at your games is your student engagement.
Yeah.
And I think the big thing when it comes to that is that, even if they have shuttles, that's still that's still a thing that the students would have to do. But then at the same time, you also have the factor of they don't have class on Fridays in Tennessee State, man.
Yeah.
So a lot of these kids go home. So so on top of that, it's just gonna be tough.
Yeah.
To try to galvanate the base. And the answer could be, well, maybe the alumni can come, the local alumni, and that's a good idea. Yeah. But it's clear that the alumni base wants Tennessee State in a HBCU conference.
Yeah. You know what? It's like, even if they are in an HBCU conference, I mean, I know it will help somewhat. Now, is this up to the administration, or is it the state Because I remember they said that is somebody above the administration that says that they have to be in a different conference. They can't be in an HBCU conference.
I believe it's more administration than state.
Oh,
But
okay.
I that's not my. I'll keep it quite frank.
Yeah.
That ain't my call. I'm not 100% sure on that, but
Yeah.
I've been told that they've had offers to do football only in the SWAC. So
Yeah.
it's not like it's something that's not an option for them.
Yeah.
They're kind of making a decision not to go that route. I mean,
Yeah.
if you're worried about travel, I mean, ultimately, and I've said this when it came to A&T
Yeah.
and going back to the MEAG, even though I
Yeah.
think that's yeah, I don't want to get started with that. But
Yeah.
my big thing has been, I was like, ultimately, you guys only care about one sport.
Yeah.
And that's it. Y'all ain't really y'all ain't talking about the other ones at the same level of one.
Yeah.
And that's the reality of it, right? So I'm open to like coming back just for football.
Yeah.
That's not my decision.
No.
But at the grand scheme, because I just don't see them moving everything there. Like we're successful in track.
Yeah.
Like we played South Carolina last night and we looked pretty good, man. I'm gonna be honest. They looked pretty good.
Yeah.
And so they actually look like a CAA team.
Yeah. 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 And you know what? I see that in our auxiliary sports as well. I see it definitely in basketball. We fit the bill. We definitely fit the bill in track and field. It's just football is where the resources are. And I do feel like Hampton and A&T both have the resources, but whatever it is that we are missing out on it big time. And I like speaking with coaches who coached at Hampton and coached at other CA programs. They have well, I would say some say, oh, okay, well, it's the pay. Well, that's one thing. Some say, okay, facilities. Well, I went to Towson for grad school, and oh man, you see, I went to Towson for grad school. That stadium is just as hideous as a lot of other MEAC programs. In fact, it's even worse than a lot of SWAC programs. So you can't really say it's facilities as well. So
When the last time you've been to Townsend?
Well, shoot, I was just there today. I wasn't on campus, but I was at.
I'll tell you this.
What?
You know where they're beating us up at? Where a lot of these schools are beating us up at?
What?
It's the sports outside of football.
Yeah.
Like their basketball arena.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Nice.
It's nice, but it's like it's not. It's nice. Convocation Center is nice. Burr is nice. I mean, it's like a down home feel. I love it when it's rocking. It's like, to me, it's unmatched.
I mean, look for A&T. I agree. Like I think we have a coach now, but the talent evaluation side, a lot of the kids that was on last year's roster is still here, so that's why I didn't have high expectations this season.
Yeah,
like I think Gibbs has over delivered with the talent that he's had, because I remember last year. He's over delivered.
I would say this. I mean, I think he's added an emotional spark to that program, and we saw it was evident when we thought you guys were just gonna crawl away and just die when you guys beat us. And I was, they really got some. They got somebody that really gives a damn. So
Gibbs is gonna get us there, but I can't expect him to go 7-8 games first year. No. Now next year we're having a different discussion point, right? And he has some terrible luck with injuries. So when you take all that into account, you got to give a man some time.
Yeah.
I think from that regard, I think he just needs a little bit of time and have some patience.
I meant Corbett, not Burr. Corbett Gymnasium. When Corbett's live.
Oh yeah, Corbett's different, man. Corbett's different though.
Yeah.
Corbett is Club Corbett is always going to be a staple, but we're working on trying to get another convocation center built for them too. Wow. Mr. King, what's going on, man?
As you can hear and see, there's a lot going on.
Yeah, I know.
I just had to escape my house, so
I'm gonna I'm gonna ask you a question. 'Cause we already talked about your beloved Tennessee State Tigers, but I'm gonna ask you a question.
While you ask this question, I'm gonna have to dip out. So y'all brothers enjoy the show, and I'll catch y'all next week.
Not a question, man. I'll see you later, man. Appreciate you coming in, Jeff.
Yep.
All right. So while I ask you this question, sir, regarding your beloved Tennessee State Tigers, are you guys going to win a conference game in football?
I thought last week was very gettable. No.
Your best shot is Charleston Southern at this point, bro.
Yeah, I mean, we let one get away pretty recently, but not. I mean, I don't know. It's not looking good. But honestly, I'll say this: I'm not on the ledge, so to speak, because I mean, we've had some coaching changes, and Coach Barlow got here kind of late in the cycle, so he hadn't really had a chance to really get his guys. So we might squeeze in one. Like I said, Charleston Southern will probably be the best shot. Yeah, going over in conference is never a good look.
You ain't got to tell me. I've seen it twice.
It's quite a fall from winning the conference.
Yeah, you ain't lying, man. Yeah, you ain't lying. You go for winning the conference to be at the bottom. That's rough, man. But I will say this. I think Barlow's gonna be able to turn it around. He's just gonna need some time.
I absolutely agree with that. I thought it was a home run high when they got him, and I still think that. Like I said, you got to give the man time. But
there's two things you can walk out of this season with if y'all don't go, if y'all end up over in conference. They went 2-1 against HBCUs. You did. Should have, but you didn't. But you went 2-1, and all three of those games you scored over 20 points. You haven't done that outside of those three games. And I think that's what you probably have to do to beat Charleston Southern. You got to figure out a way to get 20 points on the board against one of these conference teams.
And it's funny you mention that. I'm working on. Hopefully, these kind people give me a chance. I'm working on an article about that right now, and I look at some of the offensive numbers for us this year. It is brutal.
Oh yeah, it is.
It is brutal.
I mean, look at it this way, man. At least you didn't lose 53 points at home.
There is that. There is that. That's about the only solace I can take away from Saturday.
Yeah. After getting a big win against Campbell, you come back, you lose 53 at home. It's not like you got the fan base wondering if we're going the right direction. And I'm trying to talk them off the ledge because I feel like, we just had a bad day. Like, it's clear that the team has got the effort. It just had a rough day in the office on Saturday. That's why I've been harping.
And I'll ask you this because you're more plugged in, but just from the outside looking in, it looks like y'all are much better. The program looks to be in a better spot, and the team looks to be in the right direction than they were from a year ago. So, what is your assessment of the season so far for your beloved Aggies?
Outside of the Townsend game, we should have won all of our conference games. We should have won them all. We should have beat y'all too. I think we've been beating ourselves all year. We should have beaten South Carolina State. We should have beaten y'all. We should have beaten pretty much every conference game with the exception of Townsend. Townsend was that's a burn the film type of game. It was just bad across the board. I think that Gibbs' message is resonating with the football team, even though most of those guys he did not bring in. And I think Gibbs is going to get a golden opportunity next year to bring more of his guys in, and hopefully he can keep the guys that want to be here, that he likes as well, and be able to revamp this roster next season. But I think we're going to be fine. We got to get bigger up front. We got to figure out how to get the run game going again. Like that has been the killer all year. Like, and I know Gibbs wants to run the ball, and I think he wants to run the ball to the point of he's going to try to run the ball whether he can't. So there's going to be a point where he might have to change his philosophy just a tad if he can't get the right personnel in to run the ball the way he wants to.
And like I said, I think if you solve that problem up front, you're over half the way of solving the run game right there.
That's the issue, man. Our offensive and the thing is for A&T, that's typically our strength is our offensive line. Even last year with Coach Brown, that was the ability that we had. We had the ability to run the football. We couldn't pass the ball to save our life, but we had the ability to run the football. This year was the first. This week, last Saturday was the first game where like none of our quarterbacks threw 400 yards. So it was bad. Like I think we had 116 yards total, but nobody had a 100-yard day. So it was rough. To the point where I'm like, I'm not ready to say let's go with basketball season yet because I feel like we have a winnable game. We got. If it depends on what happens this week in Long Island against Stony Brook. Like if they get because the thing is, Campbell almost beat that Stony Brook team. No, not Campbell. Townsend almost beat that Stony Brook team the week before they played us. And then they freaking blew the doors off of us. So I'm like, I got to figure out which team's going to show up. And maybe with us being on the road, they'll be more focused. Because what I've noticed is that when we get big wins, we don't know how to respond to try to put them together. Like we got the big win against Hampton, freaking got demolished. Gave us 62 points at home. Got the big win against Campbell, got demolished. Gave us 62 points at home. Like same total, score less this go round. So we got to start stringing this thing together. So we'll see what happens when we go against Stony Brook. It's not going to be an easy game. But we shall see. We might see a quarterback we recognize because Hampton's old starters got benched, but I think they're doing a platoon over at Stony Brook because Chris Zellis got benched a few weeks ago after he had that bad day.
Oh wow!
Yeah, so we'll see. We'll see what we get.
Yeah, and I think winning is a process. You like I said, you learning how to win a game is one, and then learning how to string that together, about having that consistency is probably the next evolution for your team to make. Once they figure that out, particularly if they can figure it out, finish the season strong and have that momentum going into next year, you got Coach Gibbs with the full off season to get his guys in there. 2026, y'all could be rolling.
Yeah, man. We're going to see. We need to be. I think we got Norfolk next year. We got Norfolk next year, if I remember correctly. So we might get the Michael Vick experience next year.
Yeah, I like to think they're I think they're better than their record indicates from what I have, the games that I have seen.
The penalties have been killing them.
Oh, that's what I was just about to say. It's so many times you would watch them penalties kill a drive for them, penalties keep a drive going for the opposition. Penalties and them self-inflicted wounds, man, it's just that's what's been killing them all season.
Well, I can relate, but Norfolk they should be better. Man, I got my thoughts about Norfolk State versus Delaware State from the standpoint of like the coaching, what I've heard. Like it's interesting how it's night and day between the two coaching staffs. And I think if Del State gets to the Celebration Bowl, it's going to be interesting about what some of the coaches some of the folks in the media are going to do. I'll be 2 years in a row that the first time head coach comes in there and wins the conference. So last year was South Carolina State. Yeah. This year might be Del State. But Del State going to have to go 5-0 to make it happen, looks like.
Yeah.
4-1 ain't going to be enough unless South Carolina State loses, which I don't think is going to happen. Well, I mean, maybe the school down the road does something. We'll see. That Friday night game, like Mia's going to have a lot of Friday night games on ESPN, on the ESPN family of networks. So we'll see.
We'll be tuned in, but it'll be.
I can't. I got YouTube TV, man. I ain't gonna be tuned into much of anything. So they come up with a deal. I could be tuned in if it was on Flow Sports or Fox, CBS or ABC. I mean, CBS or NBC.
I had to break down and get ESPN Plus this year. I didn't want to do it.
Plus is included in my phone bill. Like it's free. The moment it's not free, I got to figure out what I'm gonna do with myself. I get that Disney Plus and Hulu for free. So once they tell me I got to pay, I got to ask myself some questions. Do I really want to pay for this?
Oh,
outside of black college sports and the UFC, I really have no reason for ESPN Plus, and the UFC reason is about to disappear very, very soon.
Exactly.
January.
That's the only reason I got it. I was going to cancel after football season, but I might keep it for basketball because all our Durham games are on Plus.
Hello, man. You can lead the conference, join the CAA, man. You be on Flow, but then you gonna complain about paying for Flow. So you got to play somebody.
I done told you my stance on how that's gonna play itself out.
Will Smith by himself.
That's going.
Well, I don't think as this. I think after, we ain't even ever talked about the commissioner resigning, right? So I think that's going to keep the conference together personally, but that's just my personal opinion. I think that's going to keep folks from not moving anymore at this point.
I'm honestly surprised they held on this long. Because if you've been the head of a conference that's been hemorrhaging teams like this,
I'm trying my best. I'm trying my best to be nice because I know another commissioner that's been part of a conference and hemorrhaging teams. I'm trying to be nice.
I understand. I understand.
But contrary to what people think, Hampton A&T, the only ones that left that conference. There was a few that left before, there's a few that left after. But I digress.
Look, we'll behave ourselves. For now.
I'm trying, man. Honest, I really am. But I do want to talk about one game that was MEAC based. I want to give a shout out to the Howard Lady Bison. I was actually at that game last night when they beat Providence. Shout out to them for going there and taking care of business. And they protested the national anthem too. So shout out to them for doing that as well. So they did their thing. And the score doesn't indicate how dominant that game was by them. They played so well defensively in that game. So shout out to the Lady Bison. I don't know who's going to beat them in the MEAC. I think Norfolk's not going to be the same Norfolk squad because they lost Vickers.
Yeah.
So I don't know, man. I don't know who's going to beat them in the MEAC. But that was a big win. Beating the Big East team in Providence, that's huge.
That is.
It's huge. Not discussed. And I don't think it's been discussed enough of how huge it is. I know how we are when it comes to men's basketball about it, but I'm telling you, I think the gap is much closer. Like I think like the top 10 teams, they're above everybody else. But once you get to like 11 on down and everybody else, it's much closer than folks want to give credit for on the women's side. Much closer. Much closer.
I mean, we've seen it over recent years. A lot of HBCUs, they done hung some SEC skins on the wall and from some of these other Power 5 conferences.
Oh yeah.
So, like I said, the gap is not what one might think.
Yeah, I don't. How have you checked any? I've heard your ladies look pretty good too. I thought, right? I know Hampton had a pretty good starter.
Yes, they should have won the game. They was up. They took the lead with like 4.5 minutes to go and ended up losing by 5. So
yeah, we lost 2 of our high scores coming into the season. So our first game against Texas Tech was rough, and then our best player ended up getting fouled. Got 2 fouls within the first minute of the game, so she had to get pulled immediately against Texas Tech. We play TCU tomorrow, so we got the Texas 2-step going right now. So we'll see how the ladies do with regards to that. But I know, and I said it before the season, like the CAA picked us to be third in the conference. I think we still got a shot. We got to utilize the out of conference to figure out who's gonna be our scorer, who's gonna replace all that points that Jordan Dorsey and Malia Bacone had, because that's gonna be a big factor in us having a shot to repeat as regular season and maybe potentially win the CAA tournament. But it's gonna be tough, man. Like Drexel's there, they're pretty good, and College of Charleston, all legit. It was interesting though because Campbell's best player transferred to Texas Tech, so we got to see her. Got to see her earlier this week. so I don't, because Nunez was pretty good for Campbell last year. So when I heard that name, I'm like, oh, she was on Campbell last year.
Oh boy,
she got transferred to Texas Tech. So they coming after our players, man. But we already know that already. It ain't just football where they're going after them. They're going after them everywhere. It ain't just football and basketball.
Yeah, and we see it. I hear these, you hear the coaches talk about it. Especially, it's so much more impactful when it happens to us into our schools, because sometimes we're already behind the 8 ball in terms of resources and having assistant recruiting and things. When you get these guys and young ladies in there, either if they're already highly touted or you bring them in under the radar, and you develop them and they come into major players, and then you got these other schools from bigger conferences who didn't take a look at them, and all of a sudden they coming around sniffing and kicking the tires, and now you throwing around NIL money. It makes it even more challenging. So really, when I look at even what some of the games we saw last night, some of the teams are able to do working against that, it makes it all the more impressive. The job that some of these coaches are doing. I saw A&M extended Coach Thornton for another 3 years.
Yeah, that was quick too, huh? You better keep your coaches when you got them. Got to take care of them because you think that the schools are snooping around. They snooping around too.
Yeah.
Yeah. So all right, we got to close out.
Oh yeah.
ONG Strike Zone is up next, guys. So with Brian talking about FAMU's woes, they were on a struggle bus too, and they can't even. I remember there was one time it was like, we never lose and brag, and it seems like they're doing a lot more losing than brag nowadays. But all right, thank you for listening to Inside HBCU Sports Lab. Make sure you share our podcast with your friends and colleagues. Make sure you go to hupowership.com and follow Jeffrey Johnson and Tariq Wilson and check out their podcast. They do a podcast every week talking about Hampton sports and Hampton football and Hampton sports in general. Make sure you go to sneakershoptalk.com. Check out Brandon King. Follow me on Twitter at champd1012. I will respond to most of you guys unless you're talking crazy. We look forward to next week as we discuss the latest news in the lab. Make sure you follow Dr. Kiana Cavil on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, Inside the HBCU Sports Lab 1. On Facebook, Inside the HBCU Sports Lab. On YouTube, dream big and continue to move forward. We will talk to you soon. Brandon.
Of course.
Lecture.
Yes.
Dismiss. See you guys next week.